Hey everybody, Jimmy again with the Triple C Collective on Commentary Track Comparisons. With me today,
Ed Norton.
and we're going to be doing Why the Last Man. We're going to be diving into episode 2 of Why the Last Man. Episode 2, we have, it basically opens right where we left off at the end of episode 1. Everyone dealing with the news of that every mammal with a Y chromosome is gone, kaput. One thing that I do want to say though is that also at the beginning of it, we get another mention of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I only mention Israel again because it excites me for two reasons. One, we get Alter coming, who's a great character.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then we also get now the expansion of the world. Where's Beth?
Yeah.
We're still wondering where she is. Then we get another title card. We get the Day 8 title card. And this is the winter setting that kind of mimics the opening bit that, like, literally some of the first images we see in episode 1 of, like, the winter landscape of the farmland, all snow melted, and the dead animals there. Now,
Question also was I mean, because you're talking about the snow with 355 going to find her culprit ring associates or leaders.
Mailbox Fox. Love it.
So the thing is I just wonder, like, did they ever mention in the show where that was located? Like, even beforehand?
Her covert op?
Yeah, like, okay. So, like, that's the one thing. I'm just wondering where she was going, how she got there, too.
Remember, she rips open her jacket?
I know that. But, like, where exactly was she going? How did she actually get there? It was only 8 days after, and she was already out there. So, but as you're talking about from the production standpoint, possibly, because that is such a quick sequence, too. Like, she rips the thing out, she finds it, boom, she washes up, and she's gone. And all of a sudden, we see her walking through the snow. Yeah. So most likely, from a production standpoint.
And that also actually brings up a whole nother question of it. But, like, where the hell did she get the time to leave?
That's exactly where I was going with my line of questioning beforehand. Like, where did she get the time? And then all of a sudden, she like comes back and she's like, I answer only to you. But, like, well, where the heck have you been for the last week? Like,
8 days ago, lady. Like, because we have to assume at that point, like, the way that it's shot, it's like she takes her device out, she censors it, she has to somehow, I guess we assume, figures out the back trace on it.
Yeah.
And that's, like, what leads her there. So I guess that could take, when a special agent and operative, like, a week to do that with, like, no real access to stuff. You know what I mean? If we're being honest here. But, so I just wanted to ask about that. But the best thing about the Mailbox Fox is the address in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite Easter eggs, hints, direct things from the comic. Because that is the location of Dr. Mann. That's her lab in Boston, Mass. That's the address that we get to see there finally. And Dr. Mann, I just finished reading book 2 not that long ago to kind of prep for this, and it was great. I love it. Dr. Mann's in it, but that's getting a little bit too ahead of ourselves here.
So there was I think it was like right after, it's like right when you go to start to see Yorick again, I think there's a part where Amp escapes and ends up in the subway. So there was a part, I think, right before that, and it was a nice little kind of I guess, like, hint or, like, I guess, like an Easter egg from the comics. Did you notice it? There was a quick shot of, in front of an apartment building, there is a garbage truck filled with bodies.
Oh,
did you notice that? Yeah, there is. And I saw that, and I was like,
oh, garbage truck lady!
Because it reminds you of the garbage truck lady who is like the very first person to see Yorick in the comics. Says that he can't be a man.
Well, hold on. You're jumping a little bit ahead to the laundry scene.
Right, yeah. Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it kind of interchanges.
They totally mix and match that up, and that happens a little bit later in, like, the middle of the episode. We'll we'll touch back onto that
Yeah.
once we get here. So now 355 leaves her mailbox Fox. She's got a new address and she's heading back to the president to try and, you know, I take my orders directly from you. We get another shot of outside their government building. We've got more protesters and possible like rioters out there trying to get answers. They're already starting to talk of conspiracies and things like that. Like they're really the wheels are coming off a little bit here. It's seeming like, and I love it because like that there's some real tension that we need to get here because they're in this comic and especially at the beginning of it there's some real tension about who has what power, who is doing what, and what even the word power means in a world where half the population is now gone.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it because that brings up of why I wanted to mention Kim, the character of Kim at the beginning of it, because I think 130% Kim is going to be that thorn in President Brown, Diane Lane's character.
Yeah.
She is going to be that tussle that they have to have day in and day out, that tension that we get, and I'm excited about it. And 355 getting back with the president. Take a minute and what did you feel about that? Everything that went back and forth. Did you like all of the dialogue with her? Did you like some of the deliveries with? Because I think that might be one of my favorite things about Ashley Romans is how she delivers 355's sarcasm as a character to other people.
That was like a thing like I always remember, so 355, I remember in the comic book, she was very straightforward.
Yeah.
She was very straightforward. She was very professional when it came to the situation at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And when you noticed about her sarcasm and her witty dialogue, it actually more was the exchanges that her and Yorick had, or her and Man had. But I like that they're kind of just breaking that out right now. Like, because if you think about it, she's a covert operative that has to play many different roles.
I mean, think about where she started.
When in the first episode, she starts off, you know, out in what was it, Nebraska or something? Oklahoma, and she wants more hills and stuff like that. She's playing kind of like almost like she's a bomb maker.
Yeah.
For this extremist group. So the thing is like the fact that they kind of took her out of that straightforward element. And instead of just having those nice like quirky conversations with Man or with Yorick, and she starts going right away, and you could tell like she does a good job at taking her mission very seriously, but at the same time like she is still just a human being. And they kind of showed that like because in the opening scene you see her panic and everything like that. The panic with the blood on her hands and everything like that. And that's not something you really saw in the comic books too often. So for them to go ahead and expose that right off the bat, like, yes, she is a very serious agent, and yes, she is badass, but at the same time, she's a human being that's still dealing with a lot.
They're making her like a fully round character, like kind of right at the start. Like we have her badassery, we've seen it. Like just the whole opening of her like flipping the switch and stuff of like making that was wild.
Yeah.
The emotional aspect of just seeing all this blood and all these people like just die in front of her, and then that moment really in the bathroom where she cleans herself up
and then she snaps into it.
And it's go.
Yeah. And then you know she's gone for 8 days.
Yeah, and then she's just.
This makes sense. This makes sense now.
Gone.
Yeah.
I mean, where's Beth? So there's one thing that I started to notice here, and it's this like trembled breathing. Did you catch that? Have you caught that yet?
For who?
No. It's a background noise.
Oh, is it? No, I did not pick up on that.
Then never mind. We'll move on because I have minutes on that. But if you haven't watched it, I have minute. It takes me out of like almost every single scene, and it has become a recurring thing to show up for President Jennifer Brown or Nora. And going forward, watch it.
Okay.
Because it's done for a reason, and I have a very strong point about episode 3 in it, because it was in episode 3 where I noticed it, and then I went back.
Okay.
No. It was in episode 3 that I noticed it for Nora, and it goes with a theory that we've been spitballing a little bit, but that's jumping the gun.
Could be the confrontation.
It could
Foreshadowing.
So other than the tremble breathing, then we've got the title 63. We're in day 63 now, and that's the little 4 ticks with the line through it. I paused that because it just went by too fast.
Oh yeah, I counted. I
counted
yeah.
as well,
like,
but I was like, hold on, let me.
Dude,
pause
okay,
this for
I'm
a
gonna be
second.
honest with you. So I got to do a little quick tidbit about that. So I'm not the best with math.
Okay.
I'm not fast, and I paused it and I counted. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's 101 days. Way off. Way off. I'm not kidding. I paused it again and I was like, wait a minute, and then I recounted. I'm like, dude, that was bad. Like, you can't be that bad. So those are just a little quick tidbit that I thought people would laugh at, that I'm not that smart with that stuff.
So with the day 63 or 101, depending on if you're this guy and that's how you count.
Yeah.
The
place looks like the environment looks like it's been, like, stripped or tarnished or wilting away for 100 days. So I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. So then we get to we get to Yorick watching Beth and him
the video camera
on his phone, which I think is just a really great thing, because it's like, okay, we're still days out of this event. There's still some power left, so we believe that maybe if he's watching a video for a little bit at a time, or a couple of them, and then he shuts his phone off and stuff, like, I believe that he's got that. He might have a battery pack or two that still has some
juice in it,
juice in it, but I mean, like, they talk about it, like, right when we get back after we see the stuff with York, and, like, just that little bit of, like, the old videos, and, like, it's, like, the videos of, with Ampersand, like, wait, that's what the video is. This is, like, the first time Beth meets Ampersand. And, like, it's a really touching thing.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little plot point to allow York to actually just, like, act by himself, Like, because it's like he's just watching something that, like's already happened, so he gets to. It's a nice reflective moment. It's really what it is for him.
So yeah, I feel with that moment though. I mean, I'm not like going off like oh well, I have this issue with it. I think what a lot of that moment of that specific video, of Amp and Beth finally meeting, and he's super excited. I mean, he thinks that Beth's gonna love this, and of course she's like, you're an idiot and stuff like that.
Of course.
I think that what that is for it is a kind of little bit of telling, like, technically he's watching that video and it's kind of hinting at this is the last little bit of piece of happiness with Beth that he might have had. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's kind of touching on it, like, this is why Beth is so important to Yorick. Like, she's been going through all these crazy stupid things that he does, like getting a helper monkey.
To train a helper monkey.
Which he had no intentions of training, let's be honest.
No, he wanted that monkey for himself.
Yeah. I think that's what a big thing about that is, and I do understand the importance of those videos, because, like, it seems like, which we'll play out later in the episode that we're going to discuss, is like this might be the last little bit that he has left with Beth. Like, even though she was like, you're an idiot, they did this together.
And we kind of get, just due to the time frame of what we see here with him, like when we see him, he's still spraying up Beth, I'm alive, why heart.
Tagging all.
Yeah, tagging all over the place and stuff, trying to see where she is.
I think he was going through their favorite spots and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, familiar places, whether, that's exactly.
It's because the photo booth.
Yeah.
Because that's where he found the picture of the photo booth, which is another thing, like, right off the bat, like, you think about it, like, I don't know if I'm skipping ahead in the episode, though, like, because he finds that, and then that's when Amp kind of scurries away. Again, it's kind of like, last bit of Beth is, like, I got Beth in my hands, and all of a sudden scampers away. It's like, This is important to me. Like Amp is
It's
gone.
a duality
yeah.
of like having to make choices and having to choose between two things that you love.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if they do more with that later on in the show and stuff. But like, so what we were talking about, like his phone, watching it, does he still have power? It directly leads into the next portion of where we see President Diane Lane, or Jennifer Brown.
Jennifer Brown,
played by Diane Lane, who we love. And so she's got her meeting of the minds, her inner circle, talking out on their like war room floor, trying to figure out what's going on. And then one of my favorite lines is she tells the one lady to go F the art. We're worrying about real people, not art right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that to be a very funny line. But it kind of hurts as like somebody who is talking about like the art of comic and like TV shows and stuff here. Like without having art, we would have nothing to be talking about right now ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's like, it hurts, but it's also a very practical thing. And at this point, if you save lives, you can make more art, hopefully.
Yeah, and I believe it was this episode where President Brown says to Kim,
Next episode.
Okay, never mind.
It's one of my favorite lines.
It is one of my favorite lines too. So I remember it just keeps staying there.
I have that.
We're not going to give that away yet.
I have that entire dialogue exchange written out because I want to give.
But yeah, okay. Well, in reference to, so she says something to Kim in the next episode that really personifies her mission, and basically her mission is, we got to take care of each other now. Fine art is literally the least thing that we need to worry about, because a lot of people just died. More people are about to die if we do not take action and worry about what is at hand.
Because they've got the standing water. They don't have ways to clean out the subways. They've got dead bodies. There is a thing that they need to get done. And this whole scene personifies the power and the flex strength ability of Diane Lane and her character of President Jennifer Brown. That whole scene between the art thing and the way then she takes 355 to the side, and it's like, find my daughter.
Yeah.
You work for me. You take orders directly from like, she just lays it on there, and it's like, there is no discussion. She like walks away after it.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't even give 355 a chance to give any kind of answer that
and that's her being the president. I'm not giving you a chance to answer or to respond. You already told me what your mission is, and it's to take orders from me. It's
directly, red tape.
Boom. You go find my daughter. You don't have any questions to ask. I'm gonna go back and start taking care of the people that can survive, that I can help right now. So, again, it's, I know we harp on how great Diane Lane is, but she's transitioning this presidential character, so flawlessly, in my opinion, in the first two episodes. And I absolutely love her in this spot right now. And like I said, as you stated earlier, it's not like I don't like anybody else. I love this whole cast, but Diane has.
She's doing it.
Yeah, she's outshining right now, and I also think this first season is the central focus on her. So.
Right, because like it matters. Leadership matters.
Yeah, especially in a crisis like this.
Having somebody to say yes and no to these things really matters.
Yeah.
So then after we leave, 355 goes off, starts her search for Hero. We see Hero again.
Mm-hmm.
And Hero's at the FEMA shelter. And she meets, like, it is not even like hidden that the person that she first sees carrying the baby cart is the wife of the gentleman EMT, her partner EMT that she was sleeping with, and he was having the affair with. In the book, the guy that she is sleeping with is Joe. We don't get that EMT.
And
he's just EMT.
He's just a guy.
Yeah.
This storyline is nothing out of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, this storyline's not. You don't even get any real background on that.
The only thing that's semi-similar is that, like we said, that the other women in the comic
Thought she was a homewrecker, or she was, sleeping around.
She got
around.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But nonetheless, this whole little bit here with Hero is interesting because we see some real growth in Hero that I kind of wanted to see, because again, I really like Olivia Thirlby. I think she does a great job as Hero, but Hero right now isn't somebody we're necessarily super happy with, or at least I'm not. I don't find her to be a super great character, but we finally start seeing her do some selfless acts here.
So
some real and it's like her arm is almost like broken to do it, but like she steps up and she does what she needs to. She does the right things. And the problem I have, so what she does is the first thing she tries to do to make right is she goes back and gets that EMT's ID to hand it to the wife.
Mm-hmm.
And the wife says, "Thank you. I know I'm not crazy." Meaning, and like they even go into it a little bit more, that
she says, "I knew there was someone else.
I thought there was somebody else. Thank you for letting me know I'm not crazy." And like kind of giving her that closure, and they just move on from it.
So for me, I literally felt nothing throughout that whole thing. Like that whole exchange
between her and the wife.
Yeah,
I think it matters a little. Well, I think this, and I'm including it with.
I just think it's going to further develop Hero's story into moving on of what we know in the comic books. Her transition into the Amazons and stuff like that. So, in my opinion, this is literally what I felt like. I don't think there was any slate that was wiped clean. I don't really think there was a selfless act that was done. It's just like, because in the end, like when I was watching that,
true, it wasn't selfless. It was the right thing to do. It was a nice gesture.
But in the end, Hero is just 10 times more empty.
Mm-hmm.
She's 10 times more empty, because there's one thing, like the guy's wife says to Hero, "At least I know he wasn't alone." Mm-hmm. So I think she's more dead inside. She's more empty because she knows exactly how that guy died. He did not die due to this virus. He did not die due to this. He died because she murdered him because she was insanely jealous that he lied to her about all this stuff, and that he had no intentions of talking to his wife. It was more the jealousy of everything is why he ended up dead. So, like, I kind of was just like, all right, I know that this actual instance will probably be more integral for her, I'm not saying that word right, but into her development to further on her story. But as I was watching that, I was just kind of, like, shaking my head, like, because you saw it on her face after she thought maybe she was doing a nice act, and then when she said that, and all of a sudden it was just, like, disappeared, like, I'm still a piece of crap.
I'm still a bad person.
Yeah, I'm still a bad person. And she doesn't even know the truth.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know the truth.
She doesn't even know that, like, in the heat of the moment, there was this lover's quarrel that they were having of Hero being mad that he was still lying to his wife when they had just got done having a conversation saying how, like, no, I told her.
I did the thing.
I did it,
I did the thing. And he kept saying that. And, oh, my God.
Right?
That made me hate that guy even more. I did the thing. No, you didn't.
But he died brutally. He died brutally. So then Hero moves on to her friend Sam. And everything with Sam is very interesting. Because Hero and Sam they've got a little, like, commune gang of, like, them
group.
Of their group that they're going to try and find a place to live, and they have a place at one of their fellow gang members' transphobic grandmother's house. Yeah. And, like, so this is where, like, it was obviously in episode 2 where it
Vermont? I think they were going.
Vermont.
Yeah.
Up there in Vermont, which is weird because as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, maybe they'll meet Walter White up there. He hung out there for a little bit. We don't know.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I thought he was like somewhere in Nova Scotia or something like that. I don't know. Anyways.
So what I was getting back to though is that when Hero comes back, Hero finally agrees for Sam that she will reach out to her mother. And I will do this for you because you are my friend. I care about you and you are right. I do owe you. This is the least I can do for you. So maybe it is. Maybe I'm giving Hero too much credit by saying these things were a little bit of selfless act, and maybe it's really just her making the uptick to a mediocre person, a better person. Definitely a better person. Maybe not mediocre might be a bad. But like making a real transition, a real journey as a character, like having that character journey.
Well, yeah.
In the middle and end, showing real change, being different, having it than who you were at the beginning, and being, you know.
Well, let's. I mean, I'm not gonna say. I wasn't trying to say that Hero is just a bad person or anything. I'm just saying that, she's still just so empty. I mean, the only reason she went back to that little hideout, was because of Sam.
Yeah.
And as it's stated in the episode when she says, those fucking guys, and Sam says, you just hate everybody, and she says, I don't hate you. Mm-hmm. And that's the only reason, like, Sam is literally the last person she's holding on to now. Because she's made it very abundantly clear, and she says it just shortly afterwards, she does not want to go see her mother.
Yeah.
Which, they haven't really gone into any type of background of why she doesn't want to be around her mother at all. Mm-hmm. But it must be pretty bad because there was nothing in the comics that really had that kind of altercation, like that they didn't want to be around each other. Yeah, they were they had different opinions and they were at different odds. Like in the comic books,
it seemed more like just a typical like.
Family Feud,
familia kind of like, well, bickering.
In the comics, they made jokes.
Heads and stuff.
They made jokes. I believe Yorick and Hero made jokes about their mother being as close to a Republican Democrat as you could get. But like, so we don't really know what in the show is entailing, like why this is such a bad relationship between them. But she does truly care about Sam. But I want to know what exactly, and I know we're probably going to get it because I'm sure there's going to be a final, like, show. I shouldn't say showdown, but there's finally going to be a meet to meet with Hero and President Brown, because we've got to have a little bit more detail on why, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, of a selfish attitude when the friend that you care about, and literally is the only person that you have left in this world, because to her knowledge, Yorick is dead.
Hey everyone, sorry about that. We had a little camera hiccup here. So what we were just talking about is Hero and whether or not she actually knew if her mom was alive. We at first thought no, but actually
no, that was more on me. That was my mistake, and Jimmy corrected me, saying that, well, at FEMA there's announcements saying this is President Jennifer Brown. So Hero knows that her mother is alive. But as I was stating is, she doesn't know if Yorick's alive. Sam is basically the last piece that she's holding on to because she really doesn't like the world.
Yeah.
She was having trouble before it went to crap, and now she's having even more trouble. The only reason she was at that hideout or that safe zone for her was because Sam was there.
And that's really the only reason she had it. Like, the only reason she was there was because she was traveling with Sam.
She was going to go with Sam, yeah.
The only reason she was allowed to stay was
because of Sam. They didn't like her.
No. They definitely didn't seem to find her super nice or welcoming. Side note, though, they did have their memorial for one of their friends who didn't make it. And I thought that was another nice little touch of showing representation. Like, that whole scene was great. I found it very interesting that they are choosing to go with, like, to make that travel on these bikes. Hero was supposed to get a gas or a camping grill, they call it. But really
and she just found a knife.
And she found like
a camping knife or something like that. It was a multi-tool, I think it was.
Multi-tool.
Like, we had that already, and I was like, God, man, shut up.
Yeah, come on.
Dude, when he said that, I was like, dude, shut up. Like, oh my God. And not even like I was sticking up for Hero on that point. I was just kind of like, you're annoying. I don't like this one. I don't like this guy. This guy's a jerk. You're annoying.
You're a jerk already, and I just met you.
Yeah.
But I'm here for the representation of different people. You don't really see this in like TV or anything. Transgender, we're starting to see like the revolution of like getting more representation, more people out there, and I really, as a fan of media and stuff, I am excited to see some new and different stories out there that like we weren't getting before. I'm here for it. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. Moving on though, I'm brought back to Kimberly. She's this like cheese eating rat that just like is in my mind.
She gets under your skin very quickly. And like it's not like
she might be my favorite character.
She's not my favorite character, but she's definitely...
She's my favorite... No, you're right. She's not your favorite character. She's your favorite character to hate, though.
Yeah, well, it's like... And she hasn't really done too much to make you hate her just yet. Because like, you know what's coming, but like at the same time, it's like, you just look at her, you're like, oh, God, it's a Karen. Ugh. And I know we should get away from this whole Karen thing, but like, come on, man. You're just like... She is definitely the one that always asks for the store manager. She's always the one that's asking for a supervisor. She's always demanding a refund from stuff that was bought 3 years ago. Like, and I gotta say, like, the actress is doing a very good job. She's doing a very good job. But every time she comes on screen, I'm just like, oh, Lord. What are we gonna complain about now?
So, I lied about the specific dialogue. It is in this. It is in episode 2. I have it written down right here. So first off, before we get to it...
So I'm not ruining anything.
No.
Not yet.
No, you were trying to jump the gun, and I wasn't cool with that. So I want to talk about Kim's mom, though, because, like, I have a lot of feelings, a lot of positive feelings towards WandaVision. I know it kind of seemed to be, like, some people are split on WandaVision. I only talk about it because I love seeing how they dealt with grief.
Yeah, it was great.
In WandaVision. And I am loving the Marla, like the former president of the United States' wife, like
First Lady. Former First Lady, yeah.
Yeah, former First Lady, literally kind of falling apart in her own grief of obviously losing her own son and her husband and like any other wife or mother in this time. And specifically the whole with the cup trying to catch a fly on the window, it like that whole thing was just mind bending to me because I was like, oh man, that I don't think I have seen a better, simpler depiction of someone being truly not there.
Yeah. Oh, so no. Okay. In my opinion, and I see where you're going with it. I fully believe that she is completely and 100% there. I think she has given up on her grief. Whatever happened, what happened with her. She's just like, I think she's completely and totally there.
Yeah.
And I think that goes into the conversation she has with President Brown later on. But because, and the reason I say that I think that she is completely and totally there is because of what Kimberly asks her and her direct answer. Not even a hesitation, no craziness. It's a direct answer. Mom, are you going to put on clothes today? Nope. Like that. She responds, nope, and she didn't care one bit. Mm-hmm. And she just went about her business catching the fly. Because what else is there to do?
True.
What else is there to do? I think she is completely and totally there, but she's given up on her grief. Because in my opinion, there's no reason to grieve. This is it now. Mm-hmm. Everyone's dead. Life. Yeah, this is life. Everyone's dead. I don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. She clearly doesn't want to be around Kimberly.
Yeah.
And I think that is also expressed in the conversation that she has with President Brown. Yeah, I get some
good Marla in this. We get some good First Lady.
I liked the interactions with Marla. I didn't think too much of it into it when I
initially.
Yeah, like you said, like it's the grieving process going up to 5. I was like, okay, and then when I rewatched it, I was like, I don't know. You know what? This is actually a lot more interesting.
Oh, I thought it was interesting from go, but I like your take.
But see, my opinion is, I think I just overlooked it. Yeah. And when I went back, I was like, I think. I got that interest part. Like, wait, there's a lot more to this.
And see, I am on the fence though that she is still on the part of grief and has lost her mind. I like your take though that she is being maybe not necessarily calculated and like
Yeah.
twisting the mustache kind of stuff, but like that she is calculated and she knows what she's doing. It's interesting in the whole like dude lifestyle almost like
Yeah.
Big Lebowski, like whatever, man, whatever.
I'm gonna like
I just want my drink.
She has nothing to dictate her life really now anymore. And she's just kind of just, I want to do what I want to do, and what I want to do is not much.
Yeah.
So just let me go do it.
Yeah.
You know, but Kimberly is clearly holding on to that, as she states throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
You know, we've got to persevere for what our husbands wanted, and it's just Marla's just, there's no point. There's no point.
And Kim, even after hearing this from her mother, Kim still is like, fine, I no longer have it. Like, clearly you kind of see that she's like, all right, Mom, like that's fine.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
I am moving.
I'm gonna hold myself to a different
This is what
standard.
This is now my like goal. This is what I need to do. This is what I want. So now it's interesting that we see this new want of Kim, but has always been there. It's just now she's starting to grab her pieces and set up the board. And that leads to the dialogue that we were talking about before, where Kim and President Brown are going a little tit for tat, and then finally Kim, pulls down on her nice little suit there, straightens herself out, and says, "Listen, I know you are doing everything you can, but ma'am, without men, there is no future." And without missing a beat, not even a second goes by, and President Jennifer Brown says, "You see, we are just trying to survive the present."
Yeah.
And this right there is the political battle.
Yeah.
That dialogue exchange is going to be the political battle between these two characters, Kim being the conservative and President Jennifer Brown being the liberal Democrat in that. And I am excited to see what happens. And to a flip side of stuff, it's why it excites me about Israel. Because they were talking with Israel and they have another cabinet member.
Yeah.
At Israel, but Israel is dark now.
Yeah.
Is that cabinet member alive? Are they dead? Are they unfound yet? Because does then that mean if there is another cabinet member alive for the former president of the United States, do they
take over? Yeah.
And then does President Jennifer Brown, Diane Lane, and everyone that she has with her then lose all the work that they've done? Does then Kim become like an acting support of this? If there is this change, if there is not, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this showdown on just this aspect alone.
Well, just those lines, because just those lines really sum up a lot.
Because neither one are wrong in their,
no, that's true.
In their instance, to have a future like this, Kim is wanting to get the genetic material. We should maybe frame it a little bit
from the sperm banks. Yes.
Yeah, Kim wants. In New York, they are doing an extraction plan of trying to get 80,000 people. They had a week to do it. They moved it up to within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And Kim just wants to know what they are going to do about the sperm banks, trying to ensure the future.
Because, man, without men, there is no future.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just love because just that personifies the battle that is going to happen because... Yeah, you're right. Kim's not wrong. There's no future without men. Yeah, but there's also no future without this president.
Yeah. Without the people presently here.
Yeah, there's no future. So the people that are here right now dictate the future.
Yeah. And so I love that showdown because they're both logical.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, compromise needs to be had with that because there needs to be actions taken for both.
Yeah.
To truly survive, and I love it. Now we leave a little bit of the political arena in the episode, and we come a little bit more Back to a little bit more of an emotional side, the man alone, York and his monkey. And they're in the subway, and for a show that really hasn't tried to do scares or anything, they've really tried to like keep tension, maybe make the world seem scary, but not a true horror-esque film. They give you a damn good jump scare.
Yeah, that jump scare with the man on the ad.
Dude, the ad, it got me. Got me.
So from my take on this one, what I thought was really great, and I made sure to make a note of this, was, from the conversation earlier, they were talking about the subways. They're taking on water. There's no pumps. There's dead people in there. It's it's just really bad conditions and stuff like that. So not only the jump scare just amplified it, but that entire time when he loses Amp and then he goes down into the subway, I don't know if you felt it, but I had anxiety that entire time. I was like, oh my God, because right off the bat, right when he stepped foot, like that conversation from earlier popped into my head, and I'm like, he's going into dead water. He's going into dead water. Like, there are dead bodies there. And it literally says on the wall behind him, there's dead people down here. Mm-hmm. And then to add in that jump scare.
Walking Dead. Yeah. Dead inside.
Yeah. And then that jump scare with the man on the ad, I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, I'm already, like, shaking, like, twitching. Like, oh, my God. Like, why is he down there? But yeah, they did a really good job on that one. That really got me, because the adrenaline and the anxiety was already there.
Yeah,
and just that was just the tipping point of bam.
And then like the whole thing of like adding like more salt to the wound, if you will. Amp's gone.
Yeah,
and in references to the comics, Amp is gone for hours when he gets loose in this world. Like, we're not talking it's not like a dog running down the block or to the neighbor's house. We're talking this animal is swinging from trees for hours on end.
Or just jumping around from building to building, trash can to trash can, jumping yards.
Doing all kinds of stuff like that. And then we also get the probably one of my favorite things and one of the best remixes for comparison from comic to series, with the ladies at the laundromat with York. It is so reminiscent of the garbage truck lady in the comic that, like, I freaked out during it. I was like, oh my god, they're doing it. It's awesome. And like, because like York, after he goes looking for ampersand in the flooded subway, he breaks into a laundromat that he thinks is abandoned to grab some new clothes for himself. Unbeknownst to him, it is 3 women who own and run the shop. I would assume a mother and 2 sisters, or maybe 3 generations, a grandmother, a mother, and a daughter. It's really unclear. I was watching it with subtitles on, so I do know that they were speaking Chinese Mandarin. Mm-hmm. And they, it was just so great. This was a real performance for Ben as York. Because, like, that panic attack he has breaking down with the gun pointed at him, giving a whole new definition to Naked and Afraid. Like, a whole new definition to it. Forget that old show. Like, he is literally crying, hyperventilating for his life here.
Yeah.
And they give us some really great shots of his face, and, like, you see it there.
Yeah, so, and, like, that's the biggest thing about the differences between York in this live action compared to the comics. In the comics, York is very defiant about everything.
Yeah.
York thinks he's a tough guy.
Yep.
York is, I'm the man of the house and blah, blah. He kind of acts like, defiant towards everything. And I think the way that this is being acted out is more realistic, in my opinion. Just due to the fact that he broke down crying. He's begging for his life. He doesn't understand why he's even alive right now.
Yeah.
So with him getting to that point of, I just want to live because for some reason I'm still alive. I can't explain it to you, but I'll leave, like it's being acted as if he's a scared little boy, which is exactly how I would imagine if either one of us was in this exact same situation.
Holy
would
cow.
be we're scared children now, and the people that we would look to don't understand why we're alive. We don't understand
child
why.
at best.
Yeah, so it's just like I thought that scene was very, very well acted, and he's in his most vulnerable state.
Mm-hmm.
Again, naked, afraid, wet, sopping wet, and he says, "I just came out of some subway water, and I don't know if my skin's gonna start peeling off." The guy thinks he might die. I thought he was gonna die. I was like, "You're gonna just like end it like this?" Like, I understand you guys can do that. You have the creativity, like
Oh yeah,
right,
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
do
yeah.
what you want. But how are you gonna complete the story? But I mean, I thought that scene was very well acted. I really did like it. I mean, and it's a complete transition from the first time a woman sees Yorick, which in the comics was the garbage truck lady. That was a really weird exchange. He thought she was trying to like come on to him, and it's like, no, she was just trying to make sure he was actually a real man. And then he escapes. Compared to this one, of the first time a woman sees the man, and he's completely vulnerable.
He's literally bearing it all.
Yeah, he's bearing it all. He's naked. He's afraid. He's so vulnerable, and he doesn't understand why he's still there, but he just wants to live. So just let me go. Like, let me go. And they do, which, I mean, was...
And...
But I did like that line. Like, this, like, he says, like, I'm looking out for you. You guys don't want to get trapped in the city. This is our home.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Despite that all, in all hopes of just being able to live a life, he's still like, get out of the city. And they're like,
yeah,
no, this is our home. This is where we live.
They're like, okay, I understand.
And right? What he does, instead, he leaves the Snickers that he promised to Amp. And every time, it breaks my heart that Amp will not get that Snickers.
Well, I think at that point he thought to himself, "I'm never going to find Amp anyways."
Yeah,
that's why That's why he went back to the subway.
Yeah,
in hope,
because after that, then we already touched on Hero. Because then we
clearing
get the air, and
we already kind of gave our
ID.
thoughts on that. So I mean,
and then so after the laundromat, we get Hero really quickly, and then we go back to York, and York again is sitting in the
no,
we get the weird breathing again. That bothered me.
Okay, I didn't notice it.
It happens with Nora. It happens with Nora and Jennifer Brown. It happens with them both.
This is the thing I wanna.
Go dive in. You've got some takes. You've got some thoughts.
I love Nora.
Yeah, I agree.
I love Nora's character. I think Nora is going to play a huge role in pretty much everybody's development. And yet she's kind of just overshadowed right now. And it's understandable because I think she's just going to break out in a big way. And you're going to kind of be like thrown back by Nora. Like, so I see that you're putting down, I see that you kind of like made a notation that maybe Nora is possibly the leader of the Amazons.
Despite the leader, Becca in the comic being British.
Victoria.
Sorry.
Victoria. Yeah, and who cares if she was British? I don't read accents. So, anyways,
she says love a lot. It sticks out, and she talks about tea and stuff.
Okay. Well, either way.
Anyhow,
but either way, they do have a striking resemblance.
Yeah.
They do have a striking resemblance in the comic books. But that was my first initial thought too. I think it was at the beginning of the No, it was halfway through the second episode. And then into the third one, I said to myself, I got a feeling Nora's going to be possibly the leader of the Amazons. Mm-hmm. And I think this one line that is said to Nora at the White House gates kind of personifies of her breaking point. Like, it starts the break. Okay, it starts the break. And that is, the guards say to her, if they needed you, they would have came for you weeks ago. Like, I think that is so important. And she might actually become the Amazon leader that is resembling Victoria because of the fact that those guards basically just said, you're forgotten.
Yeah.
We don't need you. We never needed you. You're not important enough. We're not going to get you. Oh, you need help? I don't care. Yep. We don't need you. So it's not only like... So what Nora's going to take from that is it's not the guards. That's from inside. That's from inside. Like, they've all completely forgotten about her, and it's just her and her daughter.
So like, I was thinking that might lead Nora to try and seek out directly to Kim. But I think
I don't think there's any way she can, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what also made me flip back over. Like, I always thought Amazon's, after that same scene at the end of, like, episode 1 there, where she's like, they need me or whatever, or in this episode, they need me. No, they would have sent for you weeks ago if they actually needed you. That, like, seeing that, and, yeah, I got a feeling she's going to be, if she is not going to end up being our pseudo, like if they change it from Victoria to Nora, she will be that pseudo Amazon leader.
Absolutely.
Or she'll be like an Amazon. She might even be like a hero to Victoria in that sense of like the right hand woman, like who eventually like really is in the trust and in that circle and like all of that.
Yeah, I mean, not from the very beginning, but I think from the time of the end of episode 1 into the like halfway through episode 2, I said to myself, and I know I said it, I was like, I think she's gonna be the leader of the Amazons, and I think that'd be great. But I mean, to have the leader of the Amazons just kind of abruptly come like that, like out of Nora, I don't know. I think there's going to be a little bit more development if this is what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a little bit more development in Nora to kind of take over that kind of leadership role. It could be, I know that we've stated before, the altercation with the Republicans, the Republicans' wives, meeting President Brown outside of the White House. They're trying to do, like, we think Kim's taking that action. There might be an altercation like that with Nora, possibly. But I just know that Nora is going to play a big role. I'm saying that. I'm saying that right now. She's going to play a huge role. If by a halfway point of this season she ends up dead, I'm done with this show. Because Nora's going to be awesome.
You're just done. Podcast's over. We're not coming back if she's dead after.
Seriously, if episode 5, at the end of episode 5, all of a sudden Nora dies, I'm like, that's it. No. Break the TV.
Break the TV.
We'll go protest. Picket outside. Bring back Nora.
All right.
It's kind of like with Walking Dead. I mean, if you kill the guy from Boondock Saints, I forgot his name.
Norman Reedus.
Yeah, you can't kill him.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, moving.
Made up character.
I know he's a made up character. Well, Nora's technically a made up character. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's an original character. She may be based off of several different characters throughout the comic book, but yeah, she is an original character.
So then towards the end now, we're starting to wrap up the episode. They're starting to like get things together, and we have another really great Marla and Jennifer moment. President Jennifer Brown, and this is where Marla asks.
This is the
conversation that
this is kind of where I was going with. Marla's done. Marla doesn't care.
Yeah.
Marla is so
absolutely.
Yeah. This conversation.
She says so much. She says, "I don't care about any of this. I want to bury my son and my husband."
Yeah.
And I don't need an escort. I
don't need the escort. I'll go there. I'm just going to bury my son. Yeah.
Don't risk anyone. I just want to do this. The best thing she says, though, is when she asks Diane Lane, I heard you sent someone after Hero.
Yeah.
And Diane Lane says, I sent one person. What does Marla say?
I would have sent an entire army.
Yes.
So here's the thing. And I don't know what Marla is seeing in Hero that she would send an entire army. Because, I mean, what we've seen so far, it's kind of like, what did Hero do in the past that Marla...
I think that's the definition of a parent's unconditional love.
I guess. I get it. Okay, but she seems to show more envy for Hero than she has for Kim, as she states, like, you know, I know the story is that Kim took my beauty and took my youth and stuff like that. She throughout that conversation, what I took from it, she doesn't want to be around Kim. She doesn't care about Kim.
Yeah.
She has no desire to be around her
because she saw everything that she hated about
herself in Kim. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. That's what she wants to leave.
And that and So then that also I think leads into the like breaking down of who Kim is and how she kind of gets into like how she needs to assert herself into things and have this like new drive, this thing that she's running after. And before, it was being a good housewife, a professional housewife, but also a presidential housewife in that sense.
So she even said that she was, she says, I think earlier in the episode that, my father saw me as somewhat of an advisor.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Kim's still going for it, but Marla in the end is like, you don't need to advise anything. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's just like, Marla's like, I don't think she sees any need for any of the politics anymore. Yep. That's especially why she wants to leave. I don't want to be at the White House. I want to go back home. I want to bury my son.
She probably didn't like it when being the first lady.
Even if she didn't, even if she did or didn't, she's clearly just done. Like, let me go live out my days the way I want to live them out. I don't need to be here.
Right?
I'm done.
She's like, I did my part.
Yeah.
I played the supportive wife. I had a family. They are gone now. None of this has ever mattered to me. What always mattered to me was my family, and now they are gone.
Yeah.
And my daughter, who I hate, is still here.
Yeah.
And so this is just, this was just great. The whole, I sent one person to look for her. I would have sent an army.
But what Marla doesn't know is that 355 is an army in her own sense.
Yes.
And we I'm sure we will see that even more in detail as the show goes on.
I cannot wait to see Agent 355, Ashley Romans, just go off.
Just do her thing.
Just do it. And so now we get to the end of the episode. York has his clothes. We leave Marla and Jennifer. York is breaking into an apartment. We said he had found Amp already.
So so we didn't really discuss that as much, but yeah, he runs into Amp. He goes back to the subway. That's where I left off at. He goes back to the subway. He sits there, and then he's watching the video. He's watching the video with Beth again, and Amp shows back up.
Because there's the chittering in the video of it's the intro, so like Amp is all nervous in the video, and you hear it.
Amp comes back, and I think that's kind of a little bit of hint of Beth is out there. Mm-hmm. The last little bit of Beth that he had.
Gotta keep searching.
Yeah, he's gonna keep searching, keep tagging stuff. Maybe we'll figure out where she went. Because still
things you love will come back to
you.
So
so then we go into York actually breaks into an apartment, which I was really confused. I was like, why is he breaking into his own apartment? I don't really understand what's going on. Who trashed his apartment? I was really confused with that. Find out that it was Hero's apartment. Mm-hmm. And then somebody else shows up there, which I was a little confused on why he, so he went to attack whoever was coming in. Mm-hmm. You went to Hero's apartment to find Hero.
Yeah.
Just because she doesn't announce herself doesn't mean that she isn't coming back, but I'm going to grab a guitar and I'm going to bash her, even if it's Hero or not. I just found that hilarious. Instead of maybe waiting back to see who it was, I thought that would have been a better option. And also what I wanted to see, because I believe that's what happens. In the comic books, York just makes his way down to DC, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that's how Dr. Mann is introduced.
Yeah,
in book 1
of
the comic is that York and 355 are walking down the hallway, and then they turn it. They see a door open and a light coming through the dark hallway. 355's like, York, stop. Somebody's here. The next shot we see on the panel is 355 walking through. Yeah. Dr. Mann with like a crowbar or something.
And she blocks it.
And then
she does. So that's the comparison right there. It's the exact same introduction, just two different people.
Yes.
What I also would have liked to have seen in that scene was actually because York is just so freaking reckless in a world.
He really is.
In a world that and he's like that in the comic book the entire time, but he's so freaking reckless in this show so far, which is a great comparison to the comic book. But what I would have liked to have seen is, not just attack, but like hold back. I wanted him to have his mask on. He's never. He always constantly keeps taking off his mask.
It's a superhero thing.
I know.
You get an actor to play a part. They want.
No, I know
we
that.
as the audience want to see his pretty face, or
at
least that's what the studio people
I was gonna
tell
keep
us.
going though. So like he does the attack, she blocks it, and then boom, the mask comes off.
Yeah.
I think there would have been a little bit more of the holy crap, and then I will say one thing. I wanted a little bit of the more of the urgency, more of the shock, more of the I guess shock is just gonna have to just explain it the most. Like, who are you? When 355 says that to him, who are you? It's more of like, she's just doing it like, she's an agent, but like as a human being, like, who are you? Like, there's no men left. Like, are you transgender? Or like, who are you? Yeah.
There's a lot in that question of who are you?
And I thought there could have been a little bit more, just to like really push that out there. Like there was so many emotions that could have gone with that. Who are you?
Yeah.
I still liked this scene a lot. I just wanted, like I said, a little bit more emotion out of that whole thing. Because, again, you think everyone's dead, every man is dead, and you're running into one.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a shock to even somebody as strong-willed and tough as 355.
And then the episode ends.
Well, it doesn't really end. I mean, we get the. Oh, okay. You were going to continue. Yeah. Okay.
Then the episode ends with the reuniting.
So that entire scene from when that helicopter lands until the very last line of that episode, I think that is possibly, in my opinion, the best scene so far in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
From the time that helicopter touched down, because President Brown feels something different before she even knows that is Yorick.
Mm-hmm.
She knows it's not. She knew it wasn't Hero.
Mm-hmm.
She had anticipation that it was one of her children.
Yep.
Like, she's expecting Hero, but there was something, like the way that Diane Lane acted that scene out, it seemed like President Brown knew it was her child, but there was something different. Like, this wasn't Hero, though.
Yeah.
And the way that she acted it out, like, was so pure and it was so genuine. And because in the comic book, you remember when they first meet? Somehow, Yorick just, gets into the White House and sneaks in.
Artist.
He broke into something, though. He's an escape artist, but he's breaking in. He broke into the White House. I know they're down people. They make that mention a lot in the comic book. But really, it's the White House, and he makes it into her exact office, and he knows. I'm sure he knows where to go and stuff like that. To frame
it differently, though, in the comic at that point, they don't have the rioters, and the people that do show up at the White House is a group of like 20 people, not like 3,000 that are outside at the barriers.
Okay, so then I can understand that.
So he's able to sneak that way. But how once inside the White House, how is he not detected? Because I can see him getting over the fence and like once he's in.
You gonna tell me he just broke through the window?
You're not gonna get into the president's office.
They've mentioned backup generators that they still have security measures in the comic book too. So but the thing is like that interaction though when they first meet, he sneaks up on his mom, makes a stupid comment.
His mom does the taekwondo flip
and then rips his mask off. And then she's like, "Oh my God, Yorick!" And then she breaks down. She gets excited. Mm-hmm. This in the show was more emotional. That was more.
It was the Diane Lane.
That was a realistic. That was more of a realistic. That was a rescue mission.
Mm-hmm.
That was a rescue mission, and they rescued a different person. There was so much more emotion and more heart put into that than what it was in the comic. And I get it; it's a comic book. I mean, it's fun. But when you're going to translate, you're going to take a reintroduction of Son That You Thought Is Lost into this, I think what they did was just truly, truly heartfelt, and it was a really beautiful moment, but at the same time, extremely nerve-wracking because of my next point, and I mean, I'm sure you were bringing up the pilots.
Yeah.
That entire time. And that's why I say that scene from the time that helicopter lands all the way into the last line that is said in that episode is the best scene so far. It sets up so much.
It sets up so much with just simply ending an episode. It's a good way to end an episode. It's a good way to end that the arc and everything that we have just seen. So they ended in a good place like that. Yeah. I really liked it. What are some of your final thoughts that you had on the episode, or do you have any continued thoughts on episode 1 or 2?
I kind of just sum it all up as I talk in this thing, but yeah, I mean, some of my favorite parts were definitely the interaction with Nora. I'm like really on board with the whole Nora story. I really want to figure out more that's going to go on with her.
She's intriguing.
Yeah, she's very intriguing. We don't know enough about her already.
Well,
because they focused a lot on President Brown. They focused a lot on Hero. 355 got a little bit more of a little bit more of a background.
We got a little bit more on her.
A little bit from, I'm sure. More of a storyline is going to come from her, and I'm not talking about later on in the season. I'm talking about later on in the series.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's kind of how it went in the comic books. You get a little bit more.
So I read book 2, the second trade paperback. The whole opening of 355 comes from book 2.
Yeah.
It's one line in one panel that she says that before she came here, she did a bomb job.
Yeah.
She said
right.
she said I think they actually put it in Texas. Actually in the comic.
That would make more sense.
In the show it was Oklahoma. That she was in. And yeah. So like that was great. I personally am loving this show. Mm-hmm. There is not very much that I'm really wanting, other than maybe getting the character of Alter and Dr. Man a little bit more heavily involved.
I just think that's going to be a time. We got to put in our time to get to those two guys, to Dr. Allison Man and Alter. I think Alter.
You think Alter what?
I think Alter is going to come in eventually. Uh-huh. But I don't think it's going to be this season.
Okay. What about Dr. Man?
Dr. Man's going to be here probably by it's either going to happen at the end of the season, or it is going to be the lead into the next season.
Okay.
So because I think they're going to go a little bit with the journey of Yorick. They're going to go with the journey of Yorick and 355 getting to Dr. Man. But also, if you think about it, you've got several other journeys ahead. Like, where's Hero? Where's Nora? Then you have President Brown. I mean, President Brown and Kim are probably going to come to a head at some point.
Oh, they're coming to blows, and I am here for it.
Yeah, it's going to happen soon. So
pay-per-view.
That's why I'm saying Dr. Man is most likely going to be towards the end. Because we got a couple journeys to go through for the season.
And for better or worse, they are in the Washington, D.C., New York City area. Mm. The only hint that we got was the address, which from the comic, the address that 355 sees in the mail Fox box, that is Dr. Man's lab in the comic. That is the exact address in Boston, Massachusetts.
And then people are going to ask, like, well, why does 355 have that address in her own personal file?
Mm-hmm. So
let's think about that. Is it a setup?
It's all connected, man.
Oh, absolutely. The Cooper ring, or however you pronounce it. They know stuff, bro.
All right. Well, this is all we have for you today. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Commentary Track Comparisons, presented by Triple C Collective for Why the Last Man. My name's Jimmy Clark.
And I'm Ed Norton.
You guys have a great day.